Who was in charge of OVW when you got there?
Oh, it was Danny Davis and Jim Cornette.
Okay.
Um, Lance Storm was the trainer. Rip Rogers wasn't there. He was doing the non-contract class. I think Lance came in to replace Rip. Lance was our main trainer down there for a year. He was the best, but it was it was it was Lance, and then Lance every 2 week for 2 weeks, Bill for one, or Al Snow or one of the agents would come down for that 1 week. Tommy Dreamer took over for Dr. Tom. So Tommy Dreamer was talent relations. Jim Cornette, all the TV. Danny Davis, all the production, and ran the whole thing. And yeah, that was just like you hear it was. That was real OVW there.
I love Jim Cornette.
I do
Jim Cornette
too.
was all right.
I'm
Good.
a
That was a
Jim
good talk.
Cornette guy. I love him, man. I don't just like anyone, you don't agree with anyone, you don't agree with everything someone might say, but like eh, I tell like anytime he does a watch along, or I love the historical stuff,
Right.
like, and just it's a PhD, man. We had a PhD down there. You went from playing checkers to like, being an astrophysicist, as every minute of that 60 minutes of OVW TV was perfectly laid out, and everything, he went over everything with you, and everything had a purpose, everything.
What were your interactions with Jim like? Did he give you any advice?
Yeah, no, he was great. We worked with him all the time. We were his, like, so I went, they had a OVW had a camp. It was like an OVW tryout camp before, a couple months before I got signed. Me, Roselli, we went down there. MVP was down there. Mike Knox, Cliff Compton, a lot of people that ended up getting signed later on. But we went down there, and Jim knew me from because he knew Sheldon Goldberg, so he, he's like, "Hey, Promise, how you doing?" Before I even, that was his introduction to me, and I was like, "Holy shit, Jim Cornette knows, like, come on, he knows who I am." That's so, um, he originally wanted me as, I got down there. Roselli moved down there non-contract in like June. I moved down 2 months later, and John was kind of doing. He was he was like an enhancement guy for Jimmy, but he had music. He had a gimmick. Jimmy gave him the Romeo Roselli thing. A credible enhancement guy. And we had pitched the tag team thing to Jimmy. Jimmy was awesome. I love, just don't fuck up. Don't do anything stupid, and do what he wants,
Right.
and you're good. You
And
know,
respect the business, and you're
respect the
good.
business. Yeah, don't do
Yep.
stupid shit. Jimmy was going to have me as a baby face, and which I'd primarily been, and keep John as a where John was doing, but we had pitched the idea of doing a tag team, and um like a month later he came to us and said, oh, he goes, I'm putting you two together as a tag team. He goes, I wanted to do, it just hit me today, the other day. He goes, you're going to be the Heartbreakers. You're going to have hearts and lips on your tights, and you're going to get red boas. And I'm going to put you with Mo Green, a little, pimp manager. And he goes, I've been wanting to do this gimmick for 30 years and 20 years, I think, because it was essentially he wanted like a new Fabulous Ones, I think. And then
Right.
we just kind of I don't know what we did with it. It was just like just crazy, and like we you know we were like I always loved like the Hollywood Blondes, Tully and Arn, and I just wanted to mat wrestle, chain wrestle, be like I want to be known as a good worker. I was at like early Ring of Honor shows. I loved all the indie stuff. I wanted to, like, all this stuff came so quick to me. I wanted to do Ring of Honor and Jersey All Pro and Kettner's and the Super 8. And do that stuff. But this stuff kind of skipped ahead. Roselli, meanwhile, he had the showmanship and the um, we were a perfect match for each other. We pushed each
Right.
other competitively. So that's what Jimmy did, and that was at the beginning of 2005, and it just took off from there.
What other talent was there at the time?
Oh, you had Bobby Lashley was just starting out. Dolph Ziggler, it was just Nick Nemeth. He wasn't even on TV, but Matt Morgan, Chris Masters, Aaron Stevens, Damian Sandow, Ken Doane, Eminem, Joey Matthews, and uh, Morrison. Um, God, man, Tank Toland, Chris Cage, Johnny Jeter, Mike Mondo, Nova was on the road at the time, but Nova lived in Louisville. I think he still lives in Louisville. He was always popping around and just, you just being Nova. um,
You you had
um,
good class. You
yeah,
had good class.
Kevin, I'm forgetting some guys, probably Ken Anderson, um, Kevin Thorne, uh,
I,
yeah,
I had Ken,
Brent
I had
Albright.
Ken Anderson. I had Ken Anderson on, and I said, "What was your first day at OVW like?" He goes, "I knocked on the back door." He goes, and Bobby Lashley answers the door shirtless, and I thought to myself, "I'm dead. Like, how
Yeah.
am I going to compete? How am I going to compete with these studs?"
Oh, but that was the thing, man. When I got there, like I remember seeing like Chris Masters, and then the day after I got there, we went to a house show on a Saturday at a racetrack in the middle of Kentucky, like a car like demolition derby racetrack, and I'm sitting there with Nick Nemeth, who's my size, and I'm like, all right, all right. And then Bobby Lashley in like a sleeveless like vest. And I'm just like, I can't fucking compete with this. Like what? So
Right.
Matt Capitelli was there too. So yeah, you had a wave of us guys, 5'10", between 5'10" and 6 feet, 190 to 200, me, John, Jeter, Mondo, although Mondo's a little shorter, um, Chris Cage, Capitelli, all those guys, and we eventually all, were Jimmy's like tag team guys.